If you don't have his wisdom and his understanding, the knowledge or the relationship you think you have will not be what you think it is. You'll think you have a relationship that you really don't have. Because without his wisdom and understanding, you will be in error about what he's all about. And that's where we don't want to be. We don't want to be in a confusion or in a false understanding of what he's doing, why he's doing it, and where he's going, and what he expects from us. Remember, we're comparing and contrasting, my son, listen to me, with, by the way, there'll be this sweet, honey-lipped, wonderfully sounding, enticing other idea. But listen to me. Don't listen to that. It's using a beautiful poetic picture language here. Don't get distracted by that. It's basically saying, my wisdom, my understanding, but there will be somebody else who's going to sound like their wisdom and their understanding is better, more clear, what you really want. It's enticing, it's alluring. That's the problem that's going to lead us to verse 23, is that we are learning the ways of the nations, or we've already learned them, and now we come into this and we don't want to let them go. Some of you have more of that struggle. You've already learned the ways of the nations, you were raised that way, and now letting go is kind of hard to do. You need to get to the place, a lot of you are already there, but you need to get to the place where, you know what? You're just tired of the sweet talk and you just want it straight. Can you get there where you said, you know what, I've heard enough ear tickling, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's happy, feel good, name it, claim it. Just I'm walking in favor, nonsense. You know what? Life is hard. You know that's all not true. You have your moments, but you want to figure this out because reality is where we want to live. A lot of them are wanting you to live in fantasy land. So let's just be careful that we don't get all caught up in this sacred name, very somewhat emotionally abusive, because people are judgmental about, oh, if you say the magic name, then all things go great. If you don't, you're going to hell or something. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, 99% of the people that I talk to that think that they understand the name a certain way have zero background in Hebrew. Zero. Or 2 Israeli friends in a blue letter Bible. Some of you know that joke. Okay, so it's just there's no understanding of the language. So let's not get caught up in that, if I say Lord or if I say God, oh, no, that's not a problem. It's referring to, in the language we speak, either the master or the Elohim, or the one that's worshipped. Now, we know who the true one is, but we still refer to him as Elohim. He refers to himself as Yahweh Elohim. And so he's trying to make a case here before we get to verse 23 to say, look, there are the false ones that are going to tempt you. He says, don't be awed. Don't be all impressed. Don't be wanting to do what they're doing. He is the only one. He is mighty. He is awesome. He set everything in motion. How could you even compare this dead tree that was cut down and fashioned in wood to something with the creator of all things? You can't make him. You can make an idol out of stone, out of wood. You can't make the creator. He made you. One of the problems that, we have lots of them, obviously, but one of the problems we have is we tend to have a real problem with consequences, either having them happen to us or allowing them to happen to others that we care about. Because after all, we know that they will suffer in the consequence. But you know what? You may be undermining the Father's whole plan by allowing them to have a consequence, because the consequence is supposed to do this. It's supposed to, so they feel it. He said, I'm distressing them so they get it, because I've been dealing with them since Exodus and they still don't get it. Because I gave them the commandments, and the first one said, I am Yahweh, and the second one said, don't make idols. And they're still doing it. So guess what? I'm going to allow them to go through something where they are going to feel it. I just have the Ruach teaching me. No, I'm sorry, it is not in you to figure this out. Oh, but the Ruach, but the Ruach is interacting with you, and you don't know what's the Ruach and what's you. You are going to have a problem, and if you don't think, look, you could just say, this guy's crazy and ignore me. But I'm telling you right now, you are going to have a problem, whether you like it or not, whether you want to agree with it or not. I'm telling you that you're going to have a problem discerning the difference between what you want and what the Ruach wants. And you're going to interpret you as it. You're going to insist that you feel led of the Spirit when really you're led of you. Not always, but some of the things you're going to do and you're going to attribute to the Ruach leading you is not going to be the Ruach. But it's submission because not it was imposed on you, not because you were threatened or abused or some other thing, but because you have chosen to trust. And we are a people that has very little trust. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust each other. We don't trust our Elohim. We don't trust anybody, including ourselves. We have a real problem with trust. And why? Because it's been breached a million times in our lives. When Messiah died and was resurrected, that did one important thing. It did a lot of things. I'm going to point to one important thing. It made what you do matter. Torah observance meant nothing until that moment. Anything you did didn't matter until that moment because what you did was still going to end up in death. So what he did was not do away with the law, he made it matter. He didn't do away with anything, he made everything you do matter. Because now there was an opportunity for life. When Messiah died and was resurrected, that did one important thing. It did a lot of things. I'm going to point to one important thing. It made what you do matter. Torah observance meant nothing until that moment. Anything you did didn't matter until that moment because what you did was still going to end up in death. So what he did was not do away with the law, he made it matter. He didn't do away with anything, he made everything you do matter. Because now there was an opportunity for life.